Dear students, a very warm good morning to all of you. In this warm morning, I would like to welcome all of you to a new session of the history class. Today we are going to continue with the same chapter, chapter number 6, Mahatma Gandhi and the National Movement, part 2. Do you remember the points which we were discussing in the last class? Anyway, before going to the topic, let's remember those points which we were discussing in the last class. First of all, we were discussing about Mahatma Gandhi. We have seen a small life sketch about Mahatma Gandhi. There we have seen about his personality and about his education, then about his profession and how finally he came to Indian politics and why we are addressing him as the father of nation. All those points we were discussing under the title Mahatma Gandhi. Again, the second point which we were discussing was non-corporation movement, and we were seeing what was its impact in the society and why Mahatma Gandhi and other nationalist leaders, they have implemented this particular concept in Indian politics. So those things we were discussing under non-corporation movement. And again we have seen three important events in the history which had taken place at the presence of Mahatma Gandhi. So first one is Khilafat movement, which had taken place in the history due to the failure of Turkey in the First World War and the role played by the British in the First World War for the failure of Turkey and how it hurt the feeling of Muslims in India. And the second point which we were discussing was Rowlatt Act under Justice Rowlatt, who had implemented a few number of recommendations to the British government in order to stop the growth of Indian national movement. And certain ideologies like camera trial, a person can be arrested without warrant, and stopping all the rights of the individuals, and the last fourth point, that is restrictions on movement. So these were the things which we were studying under Rowlatt Act. And finally, the last point which we were discussing was Jallianwala Bagh tragedy. And I hope you might be remembering this incident which I have explained to you yesterday in the last class. Especially, I have told you it has been considered as a black day in the history of India. The people who gathered to strike against the arrest of the Indian national movement leaders were killed or massacred or fired by the General Dyer in order to show the strength and reaction of the British. So those things we were discussing in the last class. And today we are going to deal with a few number of topics like objectives of non-corporation movement and what were the different objectives, aims of non-corporation movement. Then activities of the Indians. Activities of the Indians means how Indians cooperated in the non-corporation movement. What contribution they have given by joining in the non-corporation movement. And the third point, repression by the British government. So once the people, they have started to take active participation in the international movement, how British people repressed it, especially in the case of non-corporation movement. And finally, suspension of non-corporation movement. How British people or why British people suspended this non-corporation movement. These are the main points which we are going to discuss today. So without wasting time, let's move to the topic. Objectives of non-corporation movement. In 1920, in a special session of Indian National Congress which held at Kolkata, all the different leaders of Indian National Congress together declared that non-corporation movement is the only means to achieve their goals. So that's why they have put forward a few number of objectives of non-corporation movement. And the first one, attain self-government within the British Empire. So first they were demanding for, we have discussed these points in the last class, especially when we were dealing with assertive nationalism. Assertive nationalism or assertive nationalist leaders were demanding for Purna Swaraj, complete independence. But here they have demanded for a self-government within the British Empire. because there were some limitations to attain complete independence. So that's why the leaders, they believed that once they get self-government under British Empire, then it is easy to attain complete freedom. So that's why first objective of international movement by following non-cooperation movement was attain self-government within the British Empire. And the second was annulment of the Rowlatt Act, which means the leaders of International Congress, they have demanded that the government, especially the British government, should cancel or recall the Rowlatt Act, because according to the Rowlatt Act, it was a fully violation of all the human rights. So when I have explained in the last class about Rowlatt Act, I hope you understood it very well. That means all the ideology, all the different programs which put forward by Justice Rowlatt was against the human rights. So that's why the leaders, they have demanded for annulment of the Rowlatt Act. And the third one, remedying the Khilafat wrong. That means change the attitude of British against the hierarchy and restore the old status to the Sultan. So it has taken as an objective of non-cooperation movement by the International Congress. So these were the main objectives of non-cooperation movement. Now let's see, the Indian National Congress along with the other leaders, they have put forward a number of programs to achieve this aim. First one which they have put forward is boycott programs. Boycott government schools, colleges and courts. So those people who were working under the British, they have to boycott all those kinds of offices which they were holding. So there itself, you just imagine, if a policeman who is working under the British, he is not ready to render his service to the nation or to the British. So in such cases, how the British can maintain law and order in the society? So in such a way, suppose a judge or a lawyer or a teacher, those who were working under the British government, all those people got advised to boycott their service. So there itself, the British government, for them it was a big challenge to run the government. So it was boycott programs. Then again, foreign goods, boycott foreign goods. As I have told you earlier, British people were collecting raw materials from India and they export it to their nation, and from there they have made it as a finite product and used India as a market to sell their final products. And in those cases, if Indian people or Indians are just boycotting the foreign goods, means how it will affect the British people? It will definitely make a great impact. So that's why the second boycott program was boycotting foreign goods. And again the third one, election for the councils. So under the International Congress, the Indian nationalist leaders have organized certain elections for the councils. So it was the third one by which they were trying to achieve their goal. Elections for the councils, it has got one another dimension also. They have boycotted certain elections. So it was one another step taken by the International Congress by implementing non-cooperation movement against the British. Then again, resignation of nominated seats. Okay, just for the name's sake, Indian people were being appointed or Indian people were getting elected in different seats, especially in the administrative structures, like in the executive and administrative structures. But those people, without any hesitation, they were ready to resignation, they were ready to resign from their post as a part of the boycott programs. Then again, titles and honorary of offices. That means there were a lot of people who were being honored by British administration or the British government. Like we will take the example of Rabindranath Tagore, who had honored by the Nobel Prize. It's not from India, but at the same time there were a lot of intellectuals, skilled people in different sectors or different fields of the society, of the country. So they were ready to give up, they were ready to return the titles and honorary awards. So it was a part of boycott programs. Now then, last point, not to attend government meetings. government were holding number of meetings in order to give instructions and informations to the people as well as to the officials. And the Indian people, they were not ready to attend those kinds of meetings. And now we come to the next program, that is Swadeshi program. So the first program is boycott program and the second one is Swadeshi program. Under Swadeshi program, popularize Swadeshi and Khadi. And at the same time, on the other side, when they boycott foreign products, they need to go for something from their own country. Suppose, just imagine, take the example of a foreign cloth. Of course, if I say no to the foreign cloth, then what I have to wear, what I will wear. So I have to go for something alternative. So that's why what the leaders did, when they have implemented boycott program, they have at the same time they have implemented Swadeshi programs. So we can say that from the first instant itself, we can say that boycott and Swadeshi are something like the two sides of the same coin. Both cannot exist independently, but at the same time it can exist by standing side by side. So if I am saying boycott to something, I have to go for something which is from my own country. If I popularize something from my country, I have to say no to the foreign products. So popularize Swadeshi and Khadi products. Then again, revive hand spinning and hand weaving. We have seen in one of the previous classes, we have already seen. Due to the different industrialization of the British in India, due to the implementation of certain industries in India, our people lost their profession, especially hand spinning and hand weaving industry. So when Swadeshi programs implemented in our country, it gave a revive to the hand spinning and hand weaving industry. Then again, next one, national schools and colleges and panchayats. In the previous chapter, we have discussed about national schools. What was the impact of that? The leaders, they have implemented number of schools which taught about nationalism along with other disciplines. So that's why when they have implemented national schools, it accelerated the growth of nationalism in India. Again, in the case of colleges and panchayats, the same thing happened. And the next point says that to develop unity between Hindus and Muslims, Swadeshi programs and boycott programs helped a lot to develop unity between Hindus and Muslims. We have seen due to the partition of Bengal, it has got separated, or a huge gap between the Hindus and Muslims formed due to the partition of Bengal. But here to develop, so these leaders, they have focused on to develop unity between Hindus and Muslims. Then removal of untouchability. Untouchability is a social evil. So the leaders, they understood the impact of untouchability. If all the different sectors of the society has to come together, if all the different groups of the society has to come under one leadership, they understood that there should not be such kinds of social inequality. So that's why they have worked hard to remove untouchability. And finally, upliftment of women. Even if we take the example, or if we look into the history of India, we can see a number of women who had actively taken part in the international movement. So those leaders who were working for the spread of Swadeshi, boycott and popularize Swadeshi and Khadi products, so those people also focused on this particular idea, that is upliftment of women. Now we are going to see how people have given active participation in this non-corporation movement. That means activities of the Indians, how they have taken active participation in Indian national movement. Lawyers, they gave up the practice. They were not ready to go to the court for practicing. Second one, students, they left the schools and colleges. They just boycott the schools and colleges. It was not just because of the lazy nature, but instead the love towards the nation, just because of the nationalist idea. They left the schools and colleges. And the third one says that Congress boycotted the elections to the legislatures. We have already seen this particular point under the title boycott program. That means even they have offered with a seat, they were not ready to contest the election. So it was the third one. So all these are coming under the activities of the Indians. Then again, charkhas were manufactured to spin cloths. In the pictures of Mahatma Gandhi, along with him, you might have seen a charkha in which he was making threads. So charkhas were manufactured, but you have to remember, at a time all these charkhas were destroyed. But now, in order to accelerate nationalism, the leaders, they brought this particular idea back. That means implementing charkhas to manufacture or to spin cloths. Then again the next point says that Jamia Millia Islamia, the implementation or the beginning, installing the university, national university. So it was one of the activities of the Indians as a reaction towards the non-corporation movement, or as a way to take part in the non-corporation movement to resist against the British. Then again, leaders renounced titles and awards. I have already told you, like just imagine in this present world, a person who has awarded with Padma Bhushan or Padma Vibhushan. So those people are ready to renounce, or they are ready to surrender those titles and awards back to the British government. So once the British government, when they get this reward back, they won't feel something good about the people. They won't feel something good about their activities. So that was the main aim of those people who were ready to give back or give up their titles and awards back to the British. Then again, people gave generous financial help for the movement. Anyway, a movement cannot be success. A movement cannot be success without proper funding. So the Indian national movement was always being supported financially by the people. Even without any kind of hesitation, people were ready to give what they have. Again, shops selling foreign goods were picketed. That means there were, among the rest of the Indians, there were people who were ready to support the British, who were looking for money and power motive. So for those people, it was a big threat from the side of the Indian national movement leaders, because if they have a shop in which they were selling foreign goods, all the shops were picketed. Then again, in Malabar, Mappilas rebelled against the authorities, but later, unfortunately, what happened, it had a communal character, and as a result, a number of Hindus were killed. So it can be considered as a very bad day, or it was a negative activity from the side of those people who were actively participating in the Indian national movement, because it has got a communal character. When the Mappilas got a chance to fight against Hindus, they have made use of that. So that's why it can be considered as a mark, a red mark in the history, and it further widened the gap between Hindus and Muslims, or it affected the unity between Hindus and Muslims. And again, the last point says that people boycotted the visit of Prince Wales in 1921. So it was a very big blow towards the respect of the British, and that's why it had made a great impact. So these were the different contributions of the different sectors of the society towards non-corporation movement in order to restrict, or in order to strike against the British. Now we are going to see the different measures or the different actions taken by the British against this non-corporation movement. Repression by the British. The British government had taken a number of measures to suppress this movement, and all important leaders were arrested and sent to jail except Mahatma Gandhi, because Mahatma Gandhi was not an active member in the politics, but he was working behind the curtain. So that's why he was not arrested by the police or the British government, but instead all other major leaders who were working for the nationalism or who were working for the Indian national movement were arrested and sent behind the bars. Then ban on processions and public meetings. So it was fully prohibited throughout the country, because the British administrative officers were knowing that these processions and public meetings are creating these kinds of feelings in the minds of the people, and it finally becoming a movement against the British. So that's why they have strictly banned all the processions and public meetings which are held by nationalist leaders. Then Khilafat and Congress volunteer organizations were proclaimed as illegal. We have already seen the Khilafat Day. Under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi, they have declared a particular day as the Khilafat Day, and they have started an all India Khilafat movement. And again, Congress volunteers who were organizing people against the British. So all these activities were fully proclaimed as illegal by the British. So it was a big check to the to the International Congress, especially those who were working for the nationalism. And again, called off due to Chauri Chaura incident in 1922. So still now we were discussing about non-corporation movement. So due to the impact of Chauri Chaura incident in 1922, under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi, the Indian National Congress, they have called off this particular movement. So after the Chauri Chaura incident in 1922, never this particular method, that is non-corporation movement, implemented in India, because it has got a negative impact. So next we are going to see what is Chauri Chaura incident. So when we come to know what is Chauri Chaura incident, you will understand why Mahatma Gandhi called off this particular method to strike against the British. So now we are going to see suspension of non-corporation movement. That means why Mahatma Gandhi called off this non-corporation movement forever. So it was due to the Chauri Chaura incident in 1922. So what is Chauri Chaura movement or Chauri Chaura incident? There was a procession of 3,000 peasants to the police station at Chauri Chaura. So it was due to different actions or different policies followed by the British. But here the main reason was because of volunteers were beaten up by police for picketing a liquor shop. Liquor is a foreign product, especially when British people came to win, they brought foreign liquor to our country, and it was being sold in different parts of the country with the support of the British government. So the volunteers who were working for the international movement, they have picketed those liquor shops. As a result, the policemen charged those people, or those volunteers were beaten by the police. So this is what was the reason behind this procession, and almost 3,000 peasants have taken part in this movement, and the police fired at the peasants. Of course, 3,000 people, they were ready to strike against the British due to the lathi charge done by the police. So they have gathered against the British, but the police, without any mercy, without any human concern, they have fired at the peasants. So in return, the people became aggressive and they set fire on the police station. So this is what the actual incident happened in the case of Chauri Chaura in 1922. And in that, when they set fire on the police station, 22 policemen were killed. So Gandhiji was never expecting such a behavior from the people who were taking part in the procession. So Gandhiji finally, in 1922, he withdrew this moment forever in the history of India, especially in the history of Indian politics. So this is what is about the non-corporation movement. So I hope you have got a very clear picture about the non-corporation movement and what was its impact in Indian politics and in Indian history. So here we are going to wind up today's class, and tomorrow we will be continuing with the next upcoming part of the chapter, that is impact of the non-corporation movement in the Indian history. So till then, go through the notes and watch the video, then try to understand what is explained in this class. So here I am just winding up the class, and thank you so much for watching, and we will come up with a new class tomorrow. Thank you.